Hello, and welcome to Queer Abbey, the weekly chat show that is performed, recorded, and produced by yours truly. Ooh, featuring Wilson's graduation eleganza. Yes, honey, do you see what I'm wearing? I've got the cap. I've got the gown. Beautiful, beautiful gowns. And I'm so excited to be here for the 54th episode of Queer Abbey, just before I graduate. It is Sunday today as I'm filming this, the Goddess's Day, and I graduate on Friday. I'll be walking in the ceremony for PSU, the 2025 commencement, if you will. And I'm just so excited to be done, and I'm so proud of myself for making it to the end of this degree after having not the easiest time getting through my, at first I was a performance major for 2 years. I studied jazz music, and then I didn't make it through my, what's called a level change. I failed it, and I had to change my major, or I could have studied for another term and tried again, but really, I felt as if the cards were stacked against me and that I wasn't going to succeed if I tried again anyway. So I just changed my major, which was a good decision because it put me on the path of audio engineering. And I discovered that I actually really enjoy having all of these tools in my tool belt to produce music and edit stuff together and create sound installations and score films and stuff. It's amazing what I have discovered that I can do in the last 2 years since that pivot. And now I'm here. I'm at the end of this degree, and I'm going to get my Bachelor of Science in Sonic Arts and Music Production. It sounds real silly already. I'm kind of a little bashful when people ask me oh, what did you study? I'm Sonic Arts and Music Production, because it sounds superfluous, but really, I'm very proud of myself. I'm very excited to be done with school because I will have the time to pursue my interests and pursue my connections with people. I'm already at work, handing out my business cards and everything. Hello, do you want to work together on this? Oh, you make, film content? What if I scored those films? I'm really doing my best to put myself out there, and I'm just excited to see where this path can take me, So, I'm going to graduate on Friday. Whoop, whoop. Congrats to me. Congrats, grad. My lovely sister is going to come up to see the ceremony, which I'm really excited about because I got to see her just in March when she got married. So that was really sweet, but I don't see her super often, maybe a couple times a year. And so that's another thing that I'll have more time for now that I have a vehicle and that I've graduated school. I can go places and I can go visit my family and my friends, and I just... This is moving on to another chapter with my cunty pink tassel. The School of Music has pink tassels and pink regalia, which I think is really cute. And also, I have this cute... You did not touch the cord. I have this cute dress, this slip, that I think will be really elegant to wear alongside the eleganza. So, yay. Moving on to bigger and better things. Speaking of moving, I'm going to be moving apartments as well, so this backdrop might change. I might even get inspired to create an actual backdrop. I was thinking about that today because I have this little guy right here. I would love to be able to display silly little stuff in the background and show you my cute plants or something. So maybe I will figure out how in the new space I will orient to have a cute little background, because I would also really like to do more interviews on this show. I've really enjoyed talking to people on here, but it just requires a lot of planning and time and the necessary lovely space to do it. So I'll make that happen in the future. I'm excited to be doing more interviews and connecting with more people for all of you to enjoy. So that's stunning. I have some really great stuff to share with you this week. Aside from graduation, aside from my lovely sister visiting, I have the installation that has opened up, which is in collaboration with all of the called the Sound Installation class, but the SAMP cohort of 2025. We all worked together, like 12 of us, really hard to create this art installation. It's called Soft Reset. I've spoken about it in the last couple of weeks, so you may already be familiar, but I'm going to put in a video for you. A very cool little tour, so that you can come along with me and see this exhibit yourself. I thought to just kind of take a cunty little video on my phone when I was there alone after it had just opened up. And yeah, it's kind of overwhelming in person. It's very loud. I won't tell you how to feel about it or anything. I'll just kind of play the video and let you see it. But I'll say that it's a statement about being overwhelmed and about the urge to withdraw in an environment that's overstimulating and in a world that has a lot of misery in it. Yeah. So let's get right into that, actually. Let's show you my gorgeous exhibit that me and my classmates worked so hard on, Soft Reset. Enjoy. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed Soft Reset, a sound installation by the Portland State Sonic Arts Program. I am fucking so proud of everybody for making all of that stuff happen. If you saw, I did a lot of work on this installation. We ended up with a pretty abstract result because it was 12 people all kind of putting their ideas together. And so instead of going in one very specific direction, we sort of zoomed out a little bit and we were like, what if we just made a general statement about overwhelming information, and like being on your phone, and how when you see all of these different things that are so emotionally impactful all right one after another on TikTok, or on your hearing it on a podcast or watching it on the news, these things become sort of desensitized, and you become immersed in misery, and so you're just used to it, and it's a really difficult thing to navigate in the world that we live in today. How you just have to sort of navigate is the word for it. You have to go between all of these small issues and listen and do what you can and be as diligent as possible. And it feels like a lot of pressure at times, and you sort of want to escape into these other spaces that feel like they're sheltered or isolated. But that's actually not really the solution. You have to lean into discomfort. So that was sort of the expression of soft reset for me. And yeah, I frickin' created a diagram of where all those speakers were going to go. I helped like build the wire contraptions that were holding the 24 small speakers that were all around the room. There were 6 large speakers up on a catwalk around the room. We built platforms, and I helped paint several of them, so they would match the catwalk and like be all like black and spooky and everything. We like pitched lights, and I stapled sheets to the wall in like those weird formations that you saw. So we created this like weird David Lynch space, but I could go on and on about it because it was really fun for me to create. But you saw yourself, we had a lot of fun with Soft Reset. So I hope to do more things like that in the future and use my artistic, collaborative abilities to bring interesting like visions like that to life, you know? So yeah, that evening, as we opened the installation, I also did another performance in the small theater in Lincoln Hall, the little black box theater. Not very many people came, and that's okay. It was just a fun little performance. But we did our little like Latin incantation kind of spell performance, and it went really well, actually. We rehearsed the day of, and we had all of the gear that we were actually going to use. We had a 6-channel mixer that was going into an interface into my computer, and I had 4 different mics that were in the preamps there. And then we were... I was mixing those vocals. I just had sort of like a vocal chain that I was adjusting. I also had some recordings that I was mixing in and playing through. We had these JBL speakers. I had a left and a right like stereo out for them. And then my classmates were all doing a variety of things. This sounds so complicated when I say it. Like, it's not that bad, but my classmate Martine was using a spectral vocoder is what it's called. I think spectral because it's able to read spectral information, which is like frequency and pitch information that isn't really audible to the human ear. And so using that, you can kind of freeze like on a sound or scrub through a sound. And it will like feed the sound into this continuous like pitchy kind of information. So I guess it made like a spooky kind of whisper tone that was underneath our performance. My classmate Luisa was playing with sine waves that were making difference tones. So there was like two sine waves that were interacting, and basically the difference between the frequencies of two sine waves will create a beating or like a binaural beat. So my one classmate was doing these beats. My other classmate was playing with the spectral vocoder with these whispering recordings. I was mixing our vocals as we were singing and chanting. I had another classmate that was doing some very subtle, like granulated field recording, like nature noises. And then I had another classmate that eventually played the bass, and she also was singing along with me. And so we had all of these sort of very ambient elements that evolved. We had this little like kind of choral part that I wrote that eventually got replaced by this kind of swirly, spooky recording. And then it turned into a full-blown jam session where we were singing and playing the bass and all that jazz. So it was super cool. I had a lot of fun. I am satisfied with my time at PSU. I think that there has been moments where I felt like I was missing something, or like I have been left out of some sort of room that I'm supposed to be in, but I'm actually at the end now, and I feel like I did what I need to do, and like I earned my degree, certainly, and I'm ready to go do fun stuff elsewhere now. Bam. I think that is probably enough update for you. We're graduating, we're moving, we're doing lots of cool stuff, and I'm just having a great time with all of it. So let's move on to a little bit of advice, and after that we'll have a stunning musical spotlight by Listening Listener. So stay tuned for that, okay? Alrighty, welcome to the advice segment of Queer Abbey, the 54th episode. The first inquiry today asks, Queer Abbey, learning Spanish. I just started working at a liquor store about a month ago. We have a lot of Spanish-speaking customers, and I would like to learn some basic Spanish because some of our customers don't know much English. What would be a good way for me to learn and make their experience in our store easier? We have a lot of Spanish-speaking customers. I would like to learn some basic Spanish because some of our customers don't know much English. Okay, you said that like it's like a Venn diagram. Like there's some of our customers speak Spanish and some of our customers don't know much English. Like, okay, and in the middle, well, I feel like I'm certainly not the best person to ask about learning Spanish because but I have been learning Spanish myself. I just passed my year streak in Duolingo, which is kind of exciting too. And I know enough Spanish to sell people weed at work, which is kind of exciting. And the way that I've done that is by learning with people that I know and by using Duolingo. Those are the two things. And then practicing in person at work. At least like, probably not, I don't practice in person with somebody every day, but like at least several times a week. And so it's really helped me to have a comfort level of saying like, solo entiendo un poquito español, pero puedo ayudarte. I think that means, unless I said something wrong, I only understand a little Spanish, but I can help you. Right? Or, ¿quieres una bolsa? Do you want a bag? Algo más? Algo más means, do you need anything else? ¿Necesitas algo más? Do you need anything else more? And so just knowing those kinds of that level of Spanish allows me to open up this entire world with people who don't really speak very much Spanish. So I would totally recommend doing that. And I think that it's really worthwhile to try to connect with people and like risk like looking like a fool, because why not? You know, and if somebody doesn't want to speak Spanish with you, then don't. It's okay. It's perfectly fine to like learn things and like experiment and like try to like speak with people. And if it's like, just don't do the thing that I did not that long ago where you speak Spanish to somebody and they're not Mexican or like another Spanish speaking nationality. Recently, somebody who was like Indian, I was like, oh, ¿entiendes español? It's just, I think, what I said to them. And they were like, no. And I was just like, oh, sorry. And that's okay too. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to just realize that you're being a little silly and goofy. And that's something that's really important in the process of learning anything, but especially learning a language, because you're trying to express things to people in a way that is unfamiliar to you. And it's going to make you sound like a child, basically. So anyway, you have to get comfortable with that. But I think the process of doing so will open up so many experiences. And if you have a coworker or a friend or a loved one that speaks Spanish, especially somebody whose first language is Spanish, I mean, that's really what you want in a teacher. That's going to be the best avenue to learn stuff, because they'll be able to tell you things that are situational and contextual, that make more sense grammatically, and that are easier to say and that are more poetic to say than anything that you would learn from something like Duolingo, which is certainly just an algorithm, you know? So take note of that as well, that you can learn through an app, but there's limitations to that kind of learning. A lot of learning is experiential. Yeah, well, let's move on. And buena suerte. Is that fucking Italian? I don't know. I'll look it up later. See, sometimes I'm wrong. I just said that thinking like, oh, that's good luck in Spanish, but who even knows? Maybe I'm wrong. So, moving on. The next question says, Queer Abbey, what is a secret that helps you with your skin? Well, dear listener, thank you for asking. You're so fierce for saying that I have good skin. Which sometimes, especially in good lighting and on this lovely video that like I think has like a little bit of like a blur around the edges, I look very lovely. But honestly, I have pretty textured skin, and my skin is certainly very red on like my lower cheeks. I have lots of like facial hair that I don't particularly want. My skin is not perfect by any means. But some of the things that I do that I think help it to be like kind of luminous, I guess, and like not quite as dry as it is sometimes. I use what is it called? No, hydrochloric acid. Don't use that. Hyaluronic acid. Goddamn. Hyaluronic acid is this little like substance that's like watery and clear, and it holds moisture, like a lot of moisture. And so you put it on while your skin is wet. Ideally, like after a shower, right after the shower, while your face is still wet, I just take it out of the little dropper thing, and I just kind of, I put it on my wet face and let my face dry, and it kind of causes this tacky, tight sensation on my skin that's like really cunty, and that always makes my skin feel really nice, and it looks really nice under my makeup. So I'll do that before I put on like a beat or before I'm taking pictures of myself or something. Yeah, hyaluronic acid. Retinol is something that I don't use currently, but I have used in the past. Retinol is something, it's like a concentrated vitamin A, and it causes your skin cells to like turn over more quickly. So like, it like kind of mildly makes them fall off, basically. It's not like melting your skin off, but it can actually cause dryness because it like, causes more of the top layer of your skin to like come off with more ease, more quickly, or something like that. And so it can help like prevent stuff from building up in your skin, in your pores, because it's like cycling a little bit more rapidly, I guess. That's my best understanding of retinol. So that can be really good if you have acne, or if you have just any sort of like underlying issue like in your skin, because it can help to kind of like push those things out more quickly. That's how I would explain retinol. So I guess retinol is good to use only at night, because it's not good for sun exposure. When you put on retinol, it makes your skin more sensitive, or like it's reactive to the sun or something. So you can do retinol if you do a nighttime skincare routine, just a little bit, maybe even just a few times a week and in a small concentration. Hyaluronic acid after every shower, every time you wash your face is lovely, or products that use hyaluronic acid for moisturization. There was another thing I was just about to say. I mean, exfoliating your skin is certainly really good. You don't want to do that too much, though, and especially not if you're doing retinol, because retinol is going to cause that rapid skin cell turnover, and if you exfoliate too much with that, it can really irritate your skin and make it very sensitive. So there's limitations to all these things. Ultimately, not fucking with your skin is the best thing you can do, and not like over applying these kinds of products or anything too heavy. I guess. So once you've put on the hyaluronic acid, you can put on a glycerin-based like moisturizer product. The glycerin or something like that acts the same way is good because it locks those products in and kind of creates a barrier of moisture for your skin. So that can be good too, but it's also not good to always like create like a like seal over your skin kind of barrier. You want to let your skin breathe sometimes. So girl, I don't know. It's sort of just a ongoing cycle of reacting to what your skin is doing, you know? If it's dry, try to provide her moisture and give her the moisture she needs. And remember that your body is smart and it kind of like has its cycles and processes that are going on, and you don't need to do too much to fuck with that. And you should certainly concern a doctor if you can, although I understand that's not very feasible for most people. I mean, I'm not going to the doctor for my fucking skin issues. In fact, I have this awful like pimple on my forehead that I picked at, but you just can't see it because it's A, it's like kind of under this cap, and B, it's like my skin looks good in this light. It's like very washed out under my makeup. So anyway, put lights on. That's what you can do to look good. Yeah. That is going to wrap up the advice segment of this episode. If you are interested in being featured on Queer Abbey, either for the advice segment, if you have a question, a quandary, a query, or if you would like to have your music or work featured on Queer Abbey, you can reach out to us for advice using the anonymous advice inbox, which is just in the description below there. There's a little link to a Google form, and you can just click on it and fill it out. It's very easy. Alternatively, you can send us a text message or an email at 503-567-2053 or an email to queerabbey@gmail.com. That's QUEERABBEY@gmail.com. Stunning. Let's move on to the best segment, the best part of Queer Abbey, which is the musical spotlight. This week we have a stunning piece of work from ListeningListener. Let's get into that. All right, welcome to the musical spotlight. I'm excited to share with you a very cool, funky, fresh song by ListeningListener that came out just very recently, this year, sometime, and it's called Got My Doll. It's sort of a double feature that came out with another song called OGs, and it's a short compilation of samples. ListeningListener uses a sampler to create all of his music, and it's just like very creatively woven together and curated, all of these clips and like sound art and musical textures, and it's sort of like a collage of musical sound objects, and it's always very tasteful. I think that Mikey does a really good job of kind of creating a storyline and a really cool musical vibe and like sitting in that. And I think you'll really enjoy that about Got My Doll. There's this real cunty woman who's singing this vocal chop that he's, or not a chop, but like just a sample of this lady singing. And yeah, it's a really great song. I think that you will love it. And it's fitting for Pride Month because, I mean, hey, we got this doll right here. So without further ado, let's listen to Got My Doll by ListeningListener.
Full-grown woman taking a doll out of a child's hair?
Whisper so softly, words that I can feel.
Got my doll.
All right, y'all. I hope that you enjoyed this lovely piece of music by Listening Listener. You can certainly check out the rest of Mikey's music. I think they're on lots of different streaming platforms. You can follow them on Instagram at Listening Listener, and enjoy all of their really cool work. And I know that there's somebody who produces a lot and performs live, so certainly look out for collaborative opportunities or for live shows where you can see Mikey performing. Yeah, big fan, and I'm always really excited when I see new Listening Listener songs hit the market. Cool. Well, that's going to bring us to the... Oh my god, I thought I ripped my gown. My gown. Thank you for watching to the end of the 54th episode of Queer Abbey. I am so happy to have you here, and I will see you next week on Queer Abbey. Goodbye.